All right. So where's your summary?
It is on that same document, and I even have a new game for us. I couldn't think of a
Ooh,
catchy name, but
what is that?
maybe you can help me. So, well, okay. Are we starting to record? Should we do a little intro?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, welcome
Welcome
to
back.
part two of
This is now part three. We've just decided.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Part one was author recap. That was like part zero.
Oh my God.
Then we did the first part, and now this is the second part, chapter seven. Yeah, chapter seven to the end of book two. So,
Yes.
chapter 12. This is only five chapters.
Her chapters are long as hell. Like, my girl, you could this is my one recommendation is that we could break up some of these chapters a little bit.
Chapters could be shorter, and it's a little confusing to keep everything straight because, like, I'm thinking like Harry Potter is like each book was 1 year of school, and it was very clear of like now we're in this
Yes.
year, and now we're in summer, and now we're in winter, and whatever. But in this one, it's like I'm kind of not really sure where we are. One chapter could have year one and year two in it. Like, yeah, the divisions aren't super clear.
What makes it book one versus book two versus book three?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Even when chapters end, I'm like, yeah, that could have ended. This could have been three chapters. Why did it end
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like we said, like I said in the author recap thing, I think this book is for people who love words and don't mind there being a lot of words. Do you feel like it could be, we haven't finished it yet, but at this point, do you feel like it could be shorter or do you like how long it is? What are your
Um,
general feelings at this point?
okay. So what I like about the school part is so if we were to compare this to Harry Potter, it's like each year is an entire book
In Harry
versus
Potter.
in Harry Potter
Yeah,
versus Babel, it's like condensed a lot in that
right.
sense.
This is just one book. I don't think it's part of a series.
No. And there'll be like kind of time hops where they're like, okay, it's exams, they're studying, and it's the end of summer.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, okay, good. Like
I like that.
appreciated that. But there I did kind of feel like there's a little bit of like repetitiveness happening,
Hmm. She repeats some of the same ideas a lot. Maybe not a lot, but at least sometimes.
at least sometimes. It's a very long book.
Hmm.
And then with the long chapters, it can make it feel a little bit of a slog.
It does a little bit. I'm wondering though, could that be by design? Because sometimes working at Babel feels like a slog. And doing all your studies can feel like, oh, repetitive. We're still here. It's taking forever.
I would be shocked if an author for a, like an enjoyable fiction read was like, I want my readers to be in pain.
She wants them to relate to the characters.
I could see that. I think this is definitely a book for people who love to read
Hmm.
and who really don't mind if you meander on.
I agree. Who like to think about ideas, think about them again
Yeah.
and again.
And who are we to criticize for a book being too long? Where we stretch a small book into 75 parts. So
That is true. I don't mind it. Like I really
I don't
enjoy
mind
it.
it.
Part of me does feel like it's maybe a little long, but I really enjoy it.
I'm really enjoying it, but I wish this was two books.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why I wish it was two books is because it's like we're having this slow climb to the peak. Slow, slow, slow climb to the peak. And then I don't even know how the rest of it's going to go. But if it were two books, you would have a quicker peak. And then, okay, maybe you don't get like a full conclusion because it's part
Uh-huh.
two, but you get a small peak, a plateau, and then another peak, and then the
Yeah.
final conclusion, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I know when I was writing the summary for this one, I was like, what really happened? Like there's two or three like plot driving events that happened. But pretty much everything else was like we're learning more about the characters, we're learning more about their struggles at Babel and like
Yeah.
what society is like, which I enjoy. Again, I enjoy reading and it's important. And like it kind of it serves purposes beyond just driving the plot, like she's talking about life here.
Yes.
But yeah, all of that can make it feel a little lengthy.
I was wondering, like reading partway through, I was like, what is this book about?
Right.
And then I was like, we're just following Robin around.
I
And we're just
know.
seeing what he's doing. Like that's what the book is about.
Yeah.
I was explaining this book to many people because I've been reading it. And I came up with something where I was like, ooh, I feel clever about this.
Oh, I'm excited to hear.
I was describing the magic system,
Hmm.
and I was trying to find a way to explain it easily. And I was like, I told my husband, Andrew, you know the term lost in translation?
Oh, uh-huh.
He said, yes. And I said, the magic is what's lost in translation. That energy has to go
Oh.
somewhere.
Wow, that's a perfect explanation.
Yeah. So I felt really good about that.
Yeah, you should. That's
Well,
a good
thank
way to
you.
explain it.
Okay. So this section is 7 to the end of book 2,
Which is chapter 12. So it's 5
chapter
chapters,
12.
which is what started that whole tirade of.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, and I have a game that I couldn't think of a clever name for,
Okay.
but it's similar to our game, Fiction or 50s,
Oh, yeah.
but where like she has all these footnotes about historical things and stuff. And it's like, are these real or is this like part of the fiction story? So I pulled out some
Oh.
of those things and I was going to quiz you, see if you thought they were real or fiction, but I couldn't think of a good name for that game. Kwong or wrong? No.
I love that.
Wait, but I don't know if that makes sense because if it's Kwong making it up, then it's fiction,
Oh.
right?
We've done this a couple times where the only options are like false or
Yeah.
false, and you're like, well, false.
Well, okay, what if instead of wrong or right, it was Kwong or right?
Oh, yeah, I like
That
that.
could maybe work. Okay.
Yeah, Kwong are right. Or Babel, or I was gonna say Fable, but that's the same thing.
Right? See, yeah, that could be a good one. Babel,
Babel.
believable.
I like Kwong or Kwong are wrong. That's really what I like.
Wrong or wrong sounds the best. Well, either we think it's Kwong or we're wrong.
What was the other one?
Right
Kwong
or
are right.
Kwong.
Kwong are right.
It could be Kwong or right, but right or Kwong, right or wrong. It's kind of hard to say.
Right or Kwong. No,
It doesn't sound as good.
no.
What's a word that means true that starts with a B? I don't know. Maybe we can just table it.
All right, we'll table it.
We'll table it. All right. But anyways, I
Okay.
have a game where I pulled out things and I'm going to quiz you to see if you think
Okay.
they're
I might have
real.
looked him up because we both don't know history.
I know. It's
And
really a disadvantage for this book.
yeah, so I'm like easily influenced to believe
Yeah.
anything that's said. So I've been Googling a lot to see, is this true? Is that true? So I might have already Googled
Oh.
it, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you have some things then that I didn't pull out because I didn't pull out everything.
Okay.
Okay. So I have a summary again, not a huge number of big plot events, so not a lot of natural breaks in the summary, so just stop whenever.
Really quick, we left off where Robin decides to do the Hermes Society. Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. All right, let's go.
Okay, dokie. All right. So yeah, so Robin has just agreed to join the Hermes Society, work with Griffin, and at the beginning of chapter 7, or this section, Robin gets his first assignment from Griffin. He has to go to Babel at midnight, wait in the foyer, and walk out at precisely 12:05. Robin is nervous about the mission, but it goes off without a hitch. Some Hermes operatives sneak into the building after Robin, take their booty, and slip out right at 5 minutes past. Isn't that such a great word?
Yes.
Okay. The next day, Robin is sure he's going to get arrested and expelled from Babel. But no one says a thing, and life continues as normal.
Mm-hmm.
Robin assists in a few more missions for Griffin before they meet at the Twisted Root again. Robin asks Griffin how this all ends up, and he says, well, you can stay at Babel and work undercover, or you'll get caught, or you'll fake your death and go full-time Hermes Society. On the one hand, Robin wants to be just like his brother and see the underworkings of the Hermes Society and bring justice to the world. But on the other hand, Oxford is the only place Robin has ever felt like he belongs. One of Robin's core values is survival, and he sees staying at Oxford as his best chance of surviving.
Mm-hmm.
But still, he continues working with Griffin and betraying Babel.
Okay, can we pause?
Yeah.
All right. Were you on Robin's side as he was kind of like flip-flopping? Should I do it? Should I not? Where was your head at?
On his side, as in, like, I would also be confused or like
Like,
unsure what to do.
would you be team Hermes or team Babel?
Ugh, I think I'd be wiffle waffly like Robin is,
Yeah.
flip flopping because I see all the points of what Griffin is saying with Babel being unjust, but also I see Robin's point of
Mm-hmm.
finally belonging here. He really has nothing else. Like if he gives
Yeah.
up Babel, he's really alone in the world other than the Hermes Society.
Mm-hmm.
But if he doesn't have a third option, it's like really those two things. It seems like. And also this comes up more later, but like it's not super clear what Hermes is even doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I feel like if you could see the tangible benefits of a Hermes society and be like, okay, well, by me, you know, sneaking in and betraying Babel, it's like I'm helping this family or this country.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have any of that benefit.
It just seems like they're doing random stuff.
Right.
It seems like Robin's helping them do like graffiti on the walls.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
they're like,
like,
we're bringing down the man. It's like,
yeah.
what?
You're like, okay, I'm gonna risk everything to help you be like a hoodlum,
Vandal.
a
Yeah.
vandal. Yeah. Do
Right.
you feel
So,
like Griffin should have shared more about what Hermes was doing, or do you think Griffin was being smart?
well, I don't know because it is a secret society, and I get why you wouldn't want to share that. But I think I feel like there's a way to share what the goal is without giving away the details. So like
Mm-hmm.
maybe you don't share the specific like city or country maybe that you're helping, but you say like, all right, there's this country that's facing blah blah blah. And by stealing this silver and doing these things, we're gonna help them like end slavery or something.
Yes.
And then you have like a tangible goal that you're working towards.
Yes. I
So
agree.
I think he could have done more. Griffin does not seem very helpful. And he does not seem very compassionate, even though he and Robin have like the same experience, I would imagine.
Griffin, we find out, let me scan your summary. I just want to make sure I don't spoil anything.
Griffin will come up again. But I didn't include a lot of details.
Basically, have we talked about why Griffin's magic is not very strong? Like,
Oh,
does
no,
that come
we
up in the
haven't yet.
section?
That's not in my summary, so we can go ahead and bring it up.
No, 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 because we don't, since we're doing this in two parts, we don't want to bring up.
This will, this is all of book. We find that out in book two. Well, at least I can tell you what I've learned from book two because I haven't read book three yet.
Oh, okay, okay, good.
Okay. So what, do you want me to say what
Yeah,
I
just say
know?
what you've learned. Yeah.
Okay. So what we know is Griffin's magic isn't as strong. He's not as good at silver working as Robin is because Griffin isn't as native of a speaker of Chinese, basically,
Yeah.
because Professor Lovell plucked Griffin up out of China when he was too young to like fully absorb the language. Um, so he doesn't have the same level of fluency as Robin does.
Yes.
So basically, they've been like experiments and Professor Lovell realized with Robin, he's like, oh, well, if I leave this experiment in China for a few more years, then he'll be perfect for me to use.
Yes. So Griffin is jealous of Robin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, jealous. And I mean, I think just upset with his lot in life, probably.
Yeah, I think he's jealous. I think he has a lot of reason to be upset with his situation, and I think he probably feels even less of a home than Robin
Mm,
because he
yeah.
doesn't, to quote the book, dream in Chinese.
Hmm. That's true. That's a good point. And I guess for Griffin, maybe it was easier to betray Babel for those
Hmm.
reasons, and because he maybe didn't really have much of a future in Babel.
Right.
So yeah, I guess that's part of it too. So maybe he doesn't fully understand what Robin is going through.
I think he probably does, but I think he's also using Robin.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Hmm.
I think he has his own internal issues going on that is preventing Griffin from being like the true mentor that Robin would need to be fully in on the Hermes Society.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting, interesting. So, oh, 1 second. Hey. Okay.
Well, there she is.
She can't. Dad's here.
Oh,
You
hi.
see him.
Are my two favorite daughters.
So good.
Good. I'll try to bring you in.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Okay. So we were talking about Griffin isn't the mentor that Robin needs.
Right.
Um, yeah. Yeah, so I guess I don't know. What do you think about Griffin? Is he just like so it's his life's mission to carry out the Hermes Society goal and like bring justice to the world that he's like put that above all? Because I mean, Robin is his brother, but they didn't grow up together. It's not like they really know each other.
I mean, yeah, he's your brother as much as some rando is your cousin,
Yeah.
cousin on a family tree, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think to me, Griffin has a lot of anger and rage and upsetness with his situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he believes in what Hermes society believes in, but I think he's doing it more to get back at Babel.
Mm-hmm. He's doing it more out of revenge than out of bringing justice.
That's how I feel. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I I think that makes sense. But I mean, I think also he like really didn't like what Babel was doing. Like he does
Yeah.
think that it's an evil mission or evil, system.
Yes. I guess what I'm trying to say maybe is like he's taking it personally.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can
Like
see that.
he's like, yeah, they're so evil, da 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 da, and he's doing all these things, my opinion, under the guise of I'm trying to help society, but really it's like they've done all these horrible things to me, and I want to get back at them.
I could
And
see that.
also they happen to do these horrible things to other people, so they deserve everything I'm going
Oh,
to do
that's
to
how he's
them.
justifying it.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, and then for Robin, he's like, Oxford has done so much good for me.
Yeah,
And I see that they're doing bad for others, but they've done a lot of good for me. So,
I'm torn.
so I'm torn. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good.
And maybe that's why Griffin
Justification.
isn't like doing the hard sell because he's like, I don't have to sell this to you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He's like, why don't you see it?
Yeah, it should be obvious.
Yeah.
But Robin's kind of like, well, I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
Hmm.
Okay, so what about you? If you're in Robin's position, would you be torn, or do you see
Oh,
it clear?
I was just looking back through my page notes, and I sometimes I was like, yeah, I want to be in Hermes society, and then I'm like, actually, never mind.
I
These people
know.
are horrible.
I would flip flop all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What about Robin's core value being survival? Because that comes up a few times. And what do you think Griffin's core value is? Is it revenge, maybe? Do you agree that Robin's core value is survival? Because I kind of that those are my words, but he does mention survival a lot.
I think his core value is survival.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to
That's
be it seemed well, and he talks about this at some point in the book of where he feels like he's made very little choices in his life. Like he's had very little agency because
Mm-hmm.
he's never had like a good option, basically. You can
Or any
stay,
options, really.
I mean, air quotes, you always have an option. It's like, yeah,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
stay in this house with your dead family and be
Yeah.
a pauper, or you can come with me. It's like, okay, I guess that's air quotes an option.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
And then now you're in England and they're like, okay, well, you can study and learn with me, or you can be kicked out. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I guess that's an option. You can go to Babel or you can be destitute. So he
Yeah,
just feels like he's just in this current and he's just trying to constantly choose the option that allows him to live.
right. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and he's also brought up similar parallels between Professor Lobel and Griffin, where it's
Yes.
like they both are kind of putting him in the same situation, or like giving him
Yes.
these non-options, like you're saying.
Exactly. Exactly. And I feel like I feel like both Griffin and Lovell are using Robin
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
themselves. They don't really
Mm-hmm.
care
And
about
Robin
him.
knows it.
And Robin knows it.
Yeah.
And he
Yikes.
so desperately wants to be loved by his brother, to have
Mm-hmm.
someone who shares his heritage, his language, his upbringing, to have like
Yeah,
that companionship. And Griffin is just not about it.
he's not it.
My other question for this section is why do you think Robin didn't tell Rami?
I
Because
know.
Rami brings up a couple of things where you're like, mm, seems like he wouldn't be totally down on Hermes society. Like he might be interested.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just the potential consequence of telling about Hermes is too great that he can't take the
Hmm.
risk, which I do think kind of makes sense because, yeah, he trusts Rami, and Rami probably wouldn't, like, bring him to the authorities or something, but you don't want to be spreading the news that you're a traitor
Hmm.
to to Babel. Um, but I mean, also there's that one thing that we talked about in the last section where Robin brought up something like this. He was like, I forget what it was. Oh, but he was like, well, can't we use silver working to bring justice to the peoples or something? And everyone just looked at him like, what? And so
Yes.
maybe it is kind of mixed feelings where he's like, maybe Rami would be behind this, but maybe he wouldn't. And so like he's not sure enough, so he's not gonna tell.
Yeah.
But it
But
does feel like you could probe it a little bit.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know about like fully reveal your hand, but maybe just be like, "Oh, what do you think about like all this silver and like the implications?"
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't. But you know what's interesting and something I've noticed throughout this book is that we never really, for a lot of things, we don't hear how Robin's feeling. Like it'll explain how each member of the friend group is reacting to something, but it won't say what
Hmm.
Robin's doing. He's just kind of an observer.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And so I feel like maybe his method of surviving is just laying low.
Hmm.
And so he's like, I'm not gonna rock the boat. We're just gonna keep going on like we're going on. And
Yes.
that's what we're gonna do.
He also talks about how he has like split mind,
Mm-hmm.
where he has this secret with Griffin, and then during the day, he never thinks about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That might be how I would cope with it too.
Okay, so there's on page 134,
Mm-hmm.
one of the heists that Robin's helping with. Two of the Hermes Society, two black-clad figures, hurried down the opposite staircase. "What'd you say?" one of them whispered. His voice seemed strangely familiar.
Oh,
Who do you think it is?
ooh, that's a good question. Well, so by the end of this section,
Mm-hmm.
I'm suspicious of Victoire and Anthony.
Mm.
I'm thinking one or both of them
Okay.
are involved in Hermes. And you've read on through book 3.
Yeah.
Have you finished book 3?
I'm like one chapter away.
Okay. So I haven't read any of book 3.
Yeah.
So don't reveal anything, but that's my guess.
Yeah. So I was thinking the same thing. The reason why I X'd out Victoire is because he would have known. He
He would
said
have been
sounds
too familiar.
familiar.
Yeah.
That would have been too familiar. But I thought
Unless
Anthony was
he,
a very good candidate.
I think Anthony, especially with what happens at the end of the section
Hmm.
with Anthony, I think big red flags.
Yes.
But Victoire possibly could have been disguising her voice,
Yeah.
maybe. But also, I think it doesn't make sense to use her as an undercover agent here because she's a Babel student. Like, why not use her in the same way you're using Robin?
It's year one, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
d-
that seems like
d-
she wouldn't be on that level of mission unless she was a part of Hermes from before.
from before. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she did have connections with someone.
Which is possible.
Possible. Maybe Anthony.
Maybe.
Good question. Okay, other questions or anything else?
No. Playfair confirms that Babel thinks that Griffin is dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, I thought that was an important piece. Okay. And that was it.
All right. Let us carry on.
Hmm.
All right. Near the end of the first year, Robin gets invited to a wine party by Pendennis, a gentleman commoner and college royalty, who is not hoping to do anything after graduation, such a
Oh my God.
proletarian idea, but rather prefers the life of the mind.
Hmm.
Letty, Victoire, and Rami all make fun of Pendennis, but Robin secretly wishes he were like him and would not have to second guess whether he belongs at Oxford. Robin has high hopes for this party, but immediately feels out of place when he shows up. He quickly realizes, though, that he is way cooler than all these fools, and he slams them with his quick wit and unmatched language knowledge.
Hmm.
After hearing Pendennis's magnum opus poem, Robin launches into a diatribe on how translation is actually way harder and way better than writing your own works, and says, "But I'm not a rapper," drops the mic, and then walks out of there. Robin
Hmm.
tells the gang about his experience, and they all give themselves plus 10,000 cool points on their own ledger because Robin took down Pendennis.
Yes.
Okay, what did you think of that party?
I loved Robin just like laying it down and this is him going to Harvard and realizing you're just regular Joes.
Okay, yeah, so you loved it. You're like,
I
yeah, Robin,
loved
take
it.
the power.
I loved it. And I'm looking at my notes and I put that I thought Pendennis might have been, or one of the rich boy club might have been the familiar voice.
Oh, that's interesting. What makes you
Because
think that?
you find out at the party that Robin was like, "Oh yeah, like I've seen these people around." And it was like, "Okay, here's someone who is in the peripheral where he could like recognize the voice perhaps,
Mm-hmm.
but wouldn't be able to place it with certainty."
Ooh, that's a good point because that kind of would make sense for these rich people that we're spending like a good number of pages on to
Hmm.
have another role in the story.
Yeah.
That's a really good thought.
Yeah.
Hmm. And maybe that's what prompted his invitation because it was kind of weird that Robin got
Hmm.
invited to this party.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, how are these rich kids like fitting in here?
That's a good
So
thought.
I put that in my notes.
Did you have one rich kid in mind, or you're just thinking one of them?
Let me see exactly what I wrote.
Because I guess it maybe wouldn't make sense for Anthony to be the secret voice too, because he's also a Babel student, so maybe he wouldn't be
Yeah.
doing these.
I
Yeah,
said Pendennis, Pendennis, the richest boy.
yeah. He's the main character there, so that could make sense.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting.
one of the notes that I had is that Rami was really upset that he didn't get invited.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like Rami was like, "Oh, why are they inviting you? Like, why are you going? Like, you shouldn't do that." Da, 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 da. And I was like, if Rami had been invited, I feel like he would go.
Oh yeah. I think
I
so.
I feel like Rami and Robin work as long as Rami's the star.
Yeah. I see that. Rami definitely has that personality, Mr.
Hmm.
Charisma.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, one more thought too on this party. I didn't really love his whole takedown
Really?
of, yeah, like part of me was like, yeah, Robin, so glad you're like confident and like realizing the power that you have and like taking your,
Mm-hmm.
making your stand. Then the other part of me was like, it's not very nice. And like what it made me think of later on in the book, which we can circle back to when we get there, but later on in the book we see all the like farm workers protest outside Babel because Babel's taking
Mm-hmm.
all their jobs. And the way Professor Lovell describes those farm workers, he's like, ugh, the riffraff. They're like not worth anything. I'm so much smarter than they are. And it felt like Robin had
Oh,
that same sort of um perspective where he's like, these people are nothing. They're trash. I'm so much smarter than they are. And I was like, yikes. Like abuse becoming the abuser
yeah,
sort of
like
thing.
he's drinking too much of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. He's on a power trip.
Yeah. Oh.
So I don't know, I was kind of uncomfortable with it. Didn't love
Y-
it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Because it's like, I guess I feel like with the protesters, like, okay, they have a reason. These rich kids, they were just being horrible. So to me, it felt more like justified for the rich kids.
But what were they being horrible about?
Let's look.
Because basically, so how the party went, they were like having a conversation. Robin felt kind of awkward. They said some things that were like insensitive to Robin, but like I don't think they really knew their ignorance, Like they call him a China man, and one guy's like, "Oh, I know China, Kubla Khan," and Robin's like, "What?" Very good. So it's like it's them kind of reducing his culture down to like the one thing they know about China or anything related, tangentially
Okay,
related.
okay. This is where I wrote ew at the dinner party. Okay, so one of the rich kids is talking about this dinner party his dad hosted. The dad prepared an elaborate dinner party, then told his servants to go out and extend an invitation to all the beggars and homeless sops they came across. When his friends arrived, they saw those motley stragglers punch drunk and dancing on tables. It was hilarious. I wish I'd been invited myself.
Oh yeah, no, that was awful. I forgot
I
about that.
mean,
I
that
didn't
I
hate
was
that.
like, and then
That
plus
is.
all of like the microaggressions, which I get it. It's like these are uneducated, ignorant people,
Mm.
but don't care. You earned it.
Yeah. Wait, where is that? Does that happen at this party? Or did that
One
happen somewhere else?
145.
145. Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
then I was worried that they were going to do that's why they invited Robin.
I was worried about that too. Uh-huh. They're just using him as another like show monkey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I am glad that Robin didn't become their show monkey, put him in their place. I do like that. But let me see. Um,
I think where it feels like kind of like bad is that it's by the end Robin realizes that the rich kid actually just wanted Robin's approval
hmm,
because he has deep admiration for how smart the people at Babel are.
mm-hmm,
And he probably feels like an imposter or a fraud because he paid to be here, and here are people who are truly talented.
mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Wait. So,
Hmm.
why are you saying that makes it so much worse? Is that he knew they just wanted his approval and he just like walks out on them?
Well, because like when you're thinking about it, it's like he's being so mean to these people when it's like really he's doing all of these things because he thinks this is gonna make Robin think that he's cool.
Oh,
And then
uh-huh.
Robin's like, actually, you're an idiot.
Yeah, right. It kind of seems like he became the bad guy that he thought these guys were. So like the thing that I didn't like was he like gets on his whole soapbox and then he thinks these boys were nothing. He could decimate them with a word if he so desired.
Hmm.
He could jump up on the couch and hurl his wine against the curtain without consequence. He simply did not care. And so it kind of just seemed like all the things that they didn't like about the cool guys, thinking that the cool guys thought that the babblers were like nothing and were losers. Now he's just doing the same thing.
He is. He is.
So, like an alternative could be to be confident in yourself and be like, all right, I don't need their approval, but like they're people. I'll hang out here for a little
Mhm.
bit, then I'll leave. Like, I don't know. Just have a normal conversation, maybe. Is that possible?
I think that's asking a lot, in my opinion. That's asking a lot out of Robin, who
That's true. Has
he's
never had a friend.
he's never had a friend. He's clearly a second-class citizen here.
Yeah.
He's around a bunch of people that are constantly making microaggressions or just straight out racist remarks, even if they're like ignorant to it and they're not doing it in like an intentionally harmful way. That
Yeah.
is what they're doing. And then to ask the person who's being
That's
accosted
true.
constantly to then be the bigger person,
Yeah. That's a good point.
like how much can one person endure? So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yes, in a perfect world, sure, sure, sure. But I'm also like, sometimes you just gotta be a little evil. I don't know. I was kind of okay with that.
And he really wasn't like directly mean to them either. Like everything he said, I was like a little bit of a power trip, but
A lot of the things that you're not liking is his inner dialogue
mm,
and not
yeah,
what he actually said or did.
that's a good point. Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
So,
Yeah. So actually, in hindsight, I think I think you're exactly right. That would be asking a lot of Robin to do. And I think he did great in the
but
situation.
to your point, it's like it is a little bit of that egotisticalness, arrogance that Robin hates about Babel. And it is
Mm-hmm.
like Robin feels so pure and innocent. And it kind of seems like it's seeping in a little bit,
Oh, that's a really
right?
good way to say it.
But
Yeah,
that might
yeah.
be, I think that's kind of what you're seeing and not liking is
Yeah.
the influence of Babel and these horrible people. And
Hmm.
Robin's kind of turning a little bit like
I
that.
think that's a great point. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I think to your point, like you just said, if Robin were to see this in himself, I think he wouldn't really love it.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
I know.
Fascinating, fascinating.
What are you thinking about Letty at this point?
I don't really know much about any of them, I feel like. They seem fine. Letty, she was the one who especially didn't want Robin to go to this party. And we
Yeah,
learn it's because her brother was kind of like this rich Oxford kid, just like Pendenton. What is his name?
Pendentus.
The Pendentist.
Pendennis.
Pendennis. And
What's your name? Crentus Dentist?
Crentice.
Where are you going? The dentist? What's his name? Crentus? Pendentist? Okay.
It's like the tailor named Taylor. But yeah, so her Letty's brother was like Pendennis, rich Oxford kid. But then he went to one of these parties and then he like had an accident and died, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how she kind of like weaseled her way into Oxford was her dad didn't want her to go because he's like women don't belong at Oxford. But the only thing worse than sending your daughter to Oxford is not having any kid at Oxford. So he just
Hmm.
so brother died. Letty said, "Well, send me now," and she was able to test into Babel, and she ended up here. So that's what we learned about her. Um, what do I think about her? She seems really high strung. It seems like she'd kind of get on my nerves too. She seems to get on the group's nerves.
Yeah.
So,
I have a lot of conflicted feelings about Letty. You learn a lot more about the girlies, I think, in book three, probably.
oh, okay.
Um, but at this point, I wrote that Letty feels a lot like Hermione. If we're
Oh, yeah.
mapping this to Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
very like type A, wants to do well, constantly just like
Anxious.
misunderstood, anxious,
Yeah.
her nervous energy gets on everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I
Yeah.
got.
But I do like how, let's see what happens next in the summary. Well, I guess we'll get there. I was going to say I like how close the friends get, but that's coming
Yeah.
right up. Okay. So by the end of the first year, the squad grows inseparable. They leave for their summer exchange programs, learn new languages, and are excited to be reunited for year 2. In year 2, they learn more about how silver works. You write one word and its translation on the bar, and whatever meaning doesn't translate between the 2 words becomes materialized. Whatever gets lost in translation.
Yeah.
And then I put an example because they keep mentioning Evie, Evelyn Brooke. So
all I wrote about her is she dead?
I don't know, but she's come up a few times. I don't think we actually know, but I have a theory. So
What's your
I'll say this
theory?
example.
Okay.
So the example is one bright student named Evie Brooke created the treacle bar that literally, and treacle is a sugary syrup, but it has roots to words that mean antidote. And so this is the same bar that healed Robin and filled his mouth with the taste of dates back in the very beginning.
Yes.
Okay. So theory with her, because she comes up later when they're going to class, I think with Playfair, and one of the girls is going to sit in Evie's desk, and he says, "Hey, don't sit there. That's Evie's desk." But yeah, we don't know. Is she even alive? Who is she? So I'm wondering if maybe Playfair was her sponsor. Could it be the similar situation as Wobble and Robin, Playfair and Evie? I don't know.
What I'll say is that you get more information in book 3,
Oh, okay.
but not a smoking gun. And I have my own theory, but I can't share it.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, maybe we can just leave it there then.
Yes.
Unless Playfair is a part of Hermes. That's a theory that's budding in my mind.
One of the lines that I have for Playfair, and I think it ties in nicely, page 160, they're talking about why they charge so much for the silver and
Oh,
like the translations. He says, "Oh, yes, we hold the secrets and we can set the terms that we like. That's the beauty of being cleverer than everyone else." That seemed very anti-Hermes society.
That's a good point.
But
He's
if
a very good
undercover,
actor.
if he's undercover.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
That is super anti-Hermes.
Yes.
Okay. That's actually coming up in my summary.
Oh,
You
okay.
have something else?
Really quick.
Tell
We
me.
learned something about silver, and I highlighted this because I'm like, this is foreshadowing.
Ooh, okay. What is it?
They were talking about if you let's see. If you try to do if you write on the bar
Oh, yes.
translate,
Uh-huh.
it like corrupts the silver and all of the silver it touches.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, and this does not get brought up again. So I'm
Yet.
thinking yet that Hermes Society or Robin is going to corrupt all of the silver.
Oh, just
Like
level
a
the whole playing field.
mm-hmm.
Interesting. Would
Because
that
it seems like that's like a kill switch that only the people at Babel know about.
That's a good point. But for it to destroy all the silver, it needs to touch the silver.
I'm sure they have like a big pile of silver and
Oh,
he
they
just
just gotta
goes in
destroy
and he
it.
starts destroying all the reserves.
Would that work? Because that's part of Robin's questions later on, where he's like, Griffin's like, well, we're gonna wait for the fall of the British economy. And Robin's like, is that gonna happen? When?
Yeah,
And so it's like, would like burning all the money, I don't know, maybe it would bring down the economy. I don't know. Like, would that work?
it would. I think it would if you were trying to like cut it at the head with all of the hoarding, because Babel is hoarding the knowledge and then Britain is hoarding the silver.
Mm.
And you
Hmm.
can't get rid of the knowledge. You could burn up all the books, but it could be replicated. I mean, you'd have to do a lot to get rid of the knowledge. It feels like you could potentially get rid of most of the silver, if not all of it. And it's a finite resource. Like at some point,
Okay.
there's just no more.
Yeah.
Or other countries could be like, oh, we see what you've done. And now you really need this silver that we have. And we're going to set really high negotiating prices. Like I could see it in a way where it would create a little bit more equality.
Yeah. Okay.
But
That's possible.
I just think this magic kill switch is coming up again.
That's a great point. I think so too. I think you're right.
Mhm.
Okay. Ready to go on?
Yes.
All right. Well, this is actually kind of what we just talked about, but I'll say it anyway. So the gang
Okay.
learns that Babel makes itself and the empire rich off these bars. Robin thinks about how the bars could have saved his whole town, but he was told that the silver was too expensive. He
Mhm.
asked Professor Playfair, "You mean the cost of these bars is entirely invented?" And Playfair laughs and says, "Yes, that's the beauty of being cleverer than anyone else." Ha ha ha.
Oh, you had the same quote.
Yeah, it's a good quote.
That was literally like an evil villain.
It was. That's what makes me so clever.
Yes.
I'm evil. Okay. The friends grow closer than ever and become what they aspired to be when they first started: aloof, brilliant, and fatigued to the bone. They were miserable, they slept and ate too little, read too much. They ignored the life of the world, they lived only the life of the mind. They adored it. That's a
Mhm.
quote from the book. What did you think of that?
There's something really nice when in the world there's all these problems, there's all these things, but when you're in like a really hard semester,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, I can't think of anything other than the coursework.
Mm-hmm.
There is some, and like when you're in it, it feels really stressful and horrible, but it's like, then once you get out in the world, you're like, actually, that wasn't that bad. It's kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think also it's like they're doing work that they love so much.
Yes.
And like I think that's really nice of like you're just totally throwing your whole self into work that I, I think they would say they find it meaningful, even though Robin
Mm-hmm.
is kind of conflicted with what the end product is of all this. But they
Mm-hmm.
really love it and they really enjoy it. And like there is something really good to that. And I
Mm-hmm.
just love how close they are as friends. Like this feels
Yes.
like an ode to Oxford and an ode to friendship,
Yeah. And
but
I
both
think
to fall apart.
anyone who's done any level of academia, bachelor's, master's, whatever, maybe
High school.
high school even, it's like you've had like that study group where you all feel like you're in this together.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And there's
Yep.
something very nice about that.
Yeah, I feel like she captured that really well.
Yes.
I like
Mhm.
it. All right. Griffin starts meeting with Robin more regularly, but still doesn't tell him anything about Hermes. Robin asks, "Is Hermes even doing anything? Because it seems like it hasn't made a dent in the empire running the world." And Griffin says, "Oh ho ho, contraire. Things are starting to shift. The
Mhm.
empire used to have all the silver, but now they're running low. Now all the silver is being shipped to China in exchange for tea. But the Chinese don't want any of the British goods, so the silver never flows back. The Hermes Society is helping speed history along and helping the empire fall by tipping the scales in important but small events." Robin isn't convinced.
Mhm.
Griffin says, "This belief is all that I've got." So he's all in. You
Robin's literally like a homeless man and just like
mean Griffin?
saying Griffin's like a
Yeah.
homeless man holding on to conspiracy theories and Robin's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's literally all he has.
Yes. I know. Griffin doesn't really have an option either, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A few weeks later, on his next mission, Robin does his usual rendezvous, but this time, the wards that keep intruders out have been on the fritz. Robin had warned Griffin about this, but Griffin waved it off and said, "No biggie, you'll be fine." During the mission, Robin nearly gets shot in the arm, and he's very shaken. Professor Playfair sees him and is very unfazed, and he suggests he drinks whiskey to take the edge off. Griffin goes into hiding for a while, and when he finally reappears, also seems completely unfazed with Robin's near death experience. On the bright side, no one suspects Robin is a traitor. On the downside, no one cares that Robin almost died.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Couple of things. The Professor Playfair's interaction with Robin here was so crazy.
he, yeah, all of it. Like, he wasn't surprised that Robin was there at midnight. He didn't say, "Hey, did you see the thieves?" Or maybe he did ask that, but he's totally unconcerned with Robin's well being.
I started a theory I think in the first part is that Playfair is an NPC.
Oh, that's right.
And I
Uh-huh.
was like, this is definitely like NPC. Like he wasn't coded on how to handle this interaction. And he was just like beep
Yeah.
boop beep boop boop.
Agreed. What do
But
you think is? Oh, wait, no, you go.
I was just gonna say, Robin's there at 11 p.m. He'd just like been shot. And Professor Playfair is like, because Robin's like, I think I want to go to bed. And he's like, Professor Playfair, of course. Richard would say you're being lazy, but I quite understand.
Oh my gosh. I know. Because Robin's like, well, I was gonna go do some homework. That's why I was over here, but actually now I need to recover. It's like lazy.
Okay, a couple of questions. Oh, you were gonna say something.
Oh, I was gonna say, what do you think Professor Playfair's name means? Because words are clearly important. Why is he named Playfair? Is it a joke because he doesn't play fair? What is it?
Oh.
Mm.
Well, now I'm wondering if he's in on it, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. He seems like the most evil of them all,
Eviler
honestly.
than Lovell?
I mean, he's like really into creating these horrific wards that will kill anyone.
Oh, that's true. I don't like those. Those are pretty bad.
Yeah, like he's like, "Oh, I was just testing out this new weapon machinery to kill all these intruders who come in, and
Yeah.
oopsie poopsie, it's a little on the fritz."
I
Like,
know. And he wants to make them even more awful, but they had to reel him in.
yeah, and there's some other comments I think with like the protesters where he's like, "Oh, we should just like turn the wards like outwards and just like
Oh,
kill them all."
yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
So, I don't know. I think he's NPC. That's what I think.
But he's got to have a bigger role. I mean, he's a pretty big character.
He
Do you think he's
is.
just a explainer NPC, or do you think he's like running the evil empire?
I think he's going to come into play when Robin goes full Hermes society.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe Playfair's going to be like one of the final bosses. Or like one of like
Yeah,
the
I can
mini
see that.
bosses before the final boss.
Uh-huh.
So I
Yeah.
do think he's going to play a bigger part, but I don't think he's any more than just drone
Evil.
NPC of the Empire. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you think he's like all evil?
What do you think?
Playfair maybe is a joke.
Yeah,
Or he's a really good actor.
I could see that.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. All right, keep going.
Um, I had a couple other notes.
Okay.
I know we're running long. Um, who let the Hermes Society in the first time when Robin found them?
I thought he was the one who let them in.
No, but like on before Robin's first day, they
Oh,
had a chest. And that was one of my questions. Who let them in?
Anthony, maybe. Yeah, there's other Hermes members.
Like someone else is doing this.
Right. Professor Playfair?
So are they doing more like is Robin now the go-to and like the the previous go-to is not
The
like
team? Yeah, maybe they switch who their people are so it doesn't get that probably would make it less suspicious maybe. So there's not always the same
yeah.
students always going at midnight.
Yeah.
And there was a line where Griffin said like, "Oh, Robin, you're doing a good job. Like you stick to the script." Kind of like not everyone does that.
Yeah.
So there are other people, but yeah, we don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Evie could be
Could
Evie.
be Evie. This was a medical question just for you.
Oh,
Robin gets like shot and then hours later he gets around to sewing it up. And I'm like, is there a point in sewing up a wound that's been like open for hours
I
like
would think
that?
so. If it's like, because that helps the skin heal, like come back
Oh,
together. At
okay.
least from my understanding, that's what it is. I don't really know.
I was like, that sounds like a great way to like sew in an infection.
I know.
Close it
He's
up.
like, I held it over a flame, so it's clean now. It was like, I mean, I guess it is, but I don't know. That sounds awful. I
Okay.
don't think I could do that.
Well, in this book, it worked out great.
I'd go find a treacle bar. Why didn't Professor Playfair give him one of those?
Because he's a robot. He's probably like, oh, you're not even hurt.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt.
Crazy. Crazy. All right. What other notes do you have?
I think that was it.
Okay. All right. The rest of year 2 is incredibly busy with coursework, and the summer is just the same. Then the gang hits the year 3 slump. Coursework is heavier than ever. They start an independent research project, and everyone is on edge. The gang still depends on each other, but they grow to loathe their company. That was sad because you're seeing the whole arc of like growing, becoming best friends, and now it's like falling apart.
It's like your family. You get to a point where it's like, at first you're okay with some of their irritants, and then you're like, I just can't do it.
Yeah. Sad, but that's all they have. Okay. As part of their training, each student apprentices with a professor to learn about silver working. But really, it's unpaid donkey work, in her words. Robin learns that he is incredibly useful to Babel because he is one of 3 translators who can work with Chinese. He sees all the silver the Empire has and thinks there's no way the Empire could collapse like Griffin thinks. Later in the semester, a bunch of students and some professors are in black, presumably mourning. Professor Playfair explains, yeah, that student Anthony, who was super smart and very involved on campus and was really stellar, yeah, he disappeared during a research expedition. Tough. No tears. Robin and the rest of the gang realize they are expendable and no one would care if they die. Victoire, who knew Anthony best, is acting especially strange. To push her buttons, Letty brings up Anthony as much as possible. Things are not going well with the gang.
No.
Notes or keep going?
I had a note that I thought Rami and Letty were fighting because they were actually an item and they broke up.
I kind of was also thinking something like that was happening. I still think it's possible that that's what's happening.
Yes. This is a note that I'm going to bring up because Letty keeps doing these things. So Victoire is like talking about Haitian Creole and, oh, hi, baby.
He wants to be on the pod.
She is. She's so cute.
Yeah, princess.
Anyway, so Victoire wants to do the Haitian Creole, and they're like, no, nobody cares about that language. That one's like not even real. And then Letty says on page 193, she, being Victoire, is civilized, implying that like Haitian people are not.
Right. And that religion is not.
And that the religion, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rami's like, that's a loaded word, Letty. You know what I mean. She's not Haitian, she's French. And I just don't know why she's being so difficult.
Well, Letty's grown up in all this Oxford water, basically. Like her family's an Oxford family. Like she's bringing that perspective's kind of coming out now, I think.
Well, I mean, it's tough. I feel like Letty. We're reading a book about minorities and racism, and I'm the white girl. Like, right. I feel like Letty, where it's like, we're the Lettys. We're the people who are saying these insensitive, horrible things, not even realizing what it is that we're doing.
Right.
And so it's like, I really feel for Letty, but it's also like, girl, you just need to like, she just needs to listen more. Is I think the fundamental problem is that she's just doing too much.
Yeah.
Other note, I put Rami and Victoire. I think they could be convinced of Hermes. And then my final note was that I think Anthony was the Hermes other male, and maybe he got Victoire into it.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Anthony dying. I don't know why Robin hasn't thought of Anthony being a part of Hermes. Like, he mysteriously disappeared.
Exactly like Griffin.
Exactly like Griffin, and exactly like a bunch of other Hermes people. Like,
that's
like
what
Griffin
I was like,
said, people fake their own death and join Hermes. Like,
come on.
Why isn't Robin thinking this?
I know. That's why I was like, come on, Robin. You're educated, but you're not smart. That's what I'm finding.
Come on. Yeah. Easy.
To me, this seems so obvious. Okay.
I know, but I mean, I guess it's because our 5 pieces of information on this world. One of them is people fake their own death. But Robin has a lot
Well,
of pieces of information.
I don't know because it's like, okay, a mysterious death exactly described like Griffin's,
Right?
and you're
Last
not
day of
even
his...
like, it didn't even cross your mind. Oh, that's kind of like Griffin.
Right? I know. I agree.
Weird. Okay.
So, but he's very torn up about this, and he's very sad that no one cares about the students because they're basically realizing that they are the resource now, expendable,
Yes.
just being used for the
Yes.
empire.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Would that make you want to join Hermes more, or does it not really change your thoughts? Like seeing that you're an expendable resource,
I think it makes me want to join Hermes more.
but then you're kind of just a resource in Hermes.
I know.
I think that's what makes it so difficult. Is that in both situations, Robin is just being used by people.
Yeah.
So, like, there's not, again, not really a good option.
Franklin is she is grabbing, man.
I know. She's so active these days. You want to see
She a
her?
grabby girl. Hi, baby.
Hey, babe.
Oh, you're mute. You turn on the mute button.
So I'm ready to yell.
She's so cute.
She's so cute. Okay.
Okay. Oh my God, we're not even close to done.
No, we are, right?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I have a lot of quotes at the end. We don't need to go through all those. I don't
Okay.
need to. Okay. What's wrong? Okay, ready to go on?
Yep.
All right. Can you hear her maraca?
No.
Okay. Yes.
Wow, you're so cultured.
She had a big balloon for mom's birthday the
Yeah.
other day, yesterday, I guess, and she liked to hold it and play with it, and she was holding it while we were breastfeeding. Oops. And then she started moving it around, and then she started hitting me with it. Just repeatedly.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun.
She's so funny. Okay. Are you ready to go on?
Yep.
All right. So things are not going well with the gang. Things are also not going well with Babel. Hordes of
Mhm.
mill workers show up outside Babel, protesting the latest silver working that has made mills so efficient they laid off half their workers. Professor Lobbles scoffs and says, ugh, those rabble-rousers hate progress. If they had any brains, they'd get with the program and move on with the future. They've sent me death threats, but they don't scare me. They make me laugh. Ha ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that made me think of Robin and the Rich Boys. Seemed like similar perspective.
Yeah.
So, all right. But I can maybe I'll just finish the summary, then we can talk about everything.
I
All
think
right.
so.
Robin and the gang effectively ignore all these protests and focus on their studies. The gang sees what happens to fourth years after their exams. Either they get a kudos for passing, or they are brutally kicked out of Babel, thrown down the stairs, and their blood vial is destroyed so they can never enter again. Robin feels more expendable than ever. Soon after, Griffin meets with Robin and has a super important and urgent mission that he can't tell him about, but it does involve explosives that Robin may need to hide in his room for a while.
Oh my
Griffin
God.
once again cannot divulge too much info and does not care about the danger he's putting Robin in. At this, Robin explodes and says, "You don't care about me, and your resistance movement isn't even doing anything." Griffin says, "What do you mean? You're out?" And Robin says, "Yeah, I'm out."
Dun dun dun.
End of book 3. No, end of book 2.
Okay. So there's a lot of things that we could probably spend an hour talking about.
Sure, we could.
How they treat the students was a crazy scene.
Oh my gosh. Okay, did you think that was funny because it was just so outrageous, or were you like crying because it's so terrible?
I was shocked. I was like, oh, the drama.
I know. It was crazy, but it made me think of like I haven't read the Kata Basis or whatever that book is of
Yes.
like the PhD students going down to hell, but it kind of sounded like that where it's like
Yes.
this is how it feels to pass to fail your test, you know.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like satire, but also I don't know. I wasn't sure if I should laugh or cry.
I found it humorous.
Okay.
I found that part humorous. In like an ironic, horrific way.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But like it was so crazy. You're like, all I can do is laugh.
Yeah. I know. Oh my gosh. But I'm kind of like, I feel like this reflects their education system because only two people, well, I guess 3 out of the 4 passed. So I guess, all right, that's fine.
Well, and then they're like, you've been afforded every lenience. Like, we were too easy on you. We should have flunked you sooner. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
I know. You think they would help them out more,
Well,
given how
that's
much
what
resources they're investing,
exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like they're sinking a lot into these students.
right?
I mean, if you really can't do the job, you can't do the job. But it kind of seems like, isn't there like uh, like, can't he do like the silver working where he's like etching it in, the patching? Like, isn't there like a
Yeah.
lower tier job where like the flunkies can go and still be helpful?
No, you have to be expert to do anything.
And maybe like at these prestigious schools, that's what it is. Like, if you're mediocre, like you're out. Sorry.
Maybe.
No space for you.
I don't know.
So this section talks a lot about economics.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have
Tell us about it.
2 economics degrees. And a lot of the stuff that they're talking about in this book is kind of rearing its head. You're talking about like people's jobs being automated away.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and historically that has always been to the working class, the laymen, the people that are at like the lowest tier of
Mm-hmm.
the economy are the ones that are getting automated away.
Right.
And the argument has always been, well, you will go find other work and it will be fine, no problem. Now you have AI, and this
Mm-hmm.
is like the first time where it's the white collar jobs, the desk jobs, the educated people who, oh, my job might be going away.
Mm-hmm. Like everyone's job. But you're right. I guess some of the like, I don't know. It's gonna, anyways, we can,
So that could be its own topic
yeah,
forever. But I mean,
that's a
it's an
good point.
interesting thing. So I've definitely heard the arguments, and you can see where Kwong sits. And I think with most things, it's about balance.
Yeah.
It's about rehoming people, re-upskilling them.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not able to do this job because we've automated it away. Not you're on your own now. How can we find a fit for you and like a new career where you're still being helpful and you're still able to like earn an income? That to me seems like the reasonable solution.
Right. I think she brings up in here though, it was like the I forget exactly what she was saying, but it was kind of like when this was happening and like everyone started working in factories, like with the, I guess after the Industrial Revolution. I think it was more recent. Anyways, doesn't matter. They started working in factories and they like gave help to people who like lived in these certain houses so that they would work in the factories, but no one wanted to live in the house because it was a terrible living situation. So she was like, it was like they're trying to help, but they really weren't helping.
So what you're talking about in the book is called the New Poor Laws.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I looked that up because I was like, is this fake or real?
Oh, uh-huh. I bet it's real.
It's very real. And so the concept of it, and I'll try to summarize it and be as brief as possible, is all these economists were saying England had social welfare. And they were like, companies are allowing their workers to live at the poverty line as like a subsidy for their wages. Oh, you need to earn $10 an hour in order to live, but I'm only going to pay you 5 and then the government will pay you 5.
Oh, I see.
Even though
Uh-huh.
I could pay you 10, but then that means I have, you know what I'm saying? Now
Right.
I have to pay the full 10.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, there's a lot of inefficiency. So we're going to create this new system. And one of the tenets of the new system is they wanted anyone who was getting handouts from the government for it to be so horrible and undesirable that you would only be the most destitute.
I see.
So they intentionally made the living situations bad. Like they could have made it nicer, but they chose to make it worse.
I see.
And then they wouldn't let families stay together. The conditions were horrific. And then in 2015,
That's pretty recent.
Economists did studies to see the impact, and they found out that it didn't do anything that they thought it would, and it just actually made people's lives worse.
Sounds about right.
So that was that. Okay, so with the bomb and Griffin,
Yeah.
would you tap out? Is that the end?
I was kind of surprised he tapped out. Just because I don't know. Partly because it's like, can he actually tap out? Like, he kind of knows quite a bit at this point. He
Yeah.
at least knows that it exists. But I guess he can't really prove anything. So I guess he's still safe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. The bomb.
No.
But I don't know if I would be. No, maybe I would still say no. I was gonna say I don't know if I'd be courageous enough to be like, no, I'm not doing it. But that's pretty big. Holding a bomb in your room
I
after you
think
just almost got shot. I think especially having that experience, yeah, I'd be out.
I would be out too. And I think this is where Griffin overplayed his hand because Robin never had the buy-in. I think
That's
Robin's
true.
biggest interest in the Hermes Society was getting to know his brother.
Yeah, agreed.
And Griffin thought that he was bought in on the mission.
No. They didn't teach Griffin all those things in Babel.
No. And I really agreed with Robin where he's like, and he said this in the beginning, you're asking for everything, you're giving me nothing.
And it never changed.
It never changed. And it's been 2 years now.
Yeah, that's true.
And Robin's like, haven't I earned some trust? It's like, no.
not.
And they're just escalating. And it's like, I get it. And Robin's like, these students are dying. Babel doesn't care about them. If I died, Griffin probably wouldn't care at all.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I see that. All right. Well, I guess you've already read the next part. I was going to ask, what do you think happens next?
So why don't you tell me, what do you think happens next?
Well, he's got to join Hermes again. Like, that has to be the big plot point. I think something big is going to happen that's going to make him be like, okay, Babel is super corrupt. I got to be against this. So now he'll be in on the mission. Maybe that'll happen because Victoire might reveal that she's in Hermes Society, or he'll see her. Maybe they have to do a co-mission together, and they'll be like, oh, it was you? I could see that. So he's got to get back into Babel. Or sorry, into Hermes. That's all I got.
This is a note that I had on the last page of book 2. Is Griffin actually the leader of Hermes? Or maybe it's just him?
Well, he has to have those other students who've been running in.
I guess that's true.
So there's got to be others, but that would be kind of funny. Robin's like, this group is doing nothing. You're working so slow. And Griffin's like, it's just me.
It's just me. I'm running around wearing all these wigs trying to
doing the best I can.
But maybe in a less dramatic way. Is Hermes just 3 or 4 people?
I know. Babel itself isn't big. Do you have to be in Babel to be in Hermes? Because if so, that would discount the rich kids that we were thinking of.
I think that they would accept anyone who's for the mission, but if you're doing the heists, at least one of you has to be from Babel because you have to know where to go. You have to know what to look for.
Yeah.
But if it's a full, robust organization, I'm sure there are other opportunities because they can't just have, how many defects could they get? You might only have 4 people. You can't have your 4 key people running around doing these dangerous things. You need to have the grunts.
Right. Okay, so yeah, maybe there's other members that could make it bigger. Because I was gonna say if it's only Babel people, then it might only be 4
Yeah.
Hermes members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I have all those lines for Kwong or wrong, but I think we'll just need to table them for later.
All right, so join us next time for what will this be?
2B.
2B, where we go all the way through book 3. Oh, that's it. Just book 3.
It's just book 3.
Okay.
We can maybe do each book as an episode. I mean, that's quite a few episodes, but
How many more books
what do
are
you think?
there?
Is there enough meat in book 3? Is that a good place to make a full episode, or should we go into book 4?
I think we should probably go into book 4, actually.
All right. Let's do
Let me
that.
see. I think if we go from book 4 to chapter 22, that would be page 376.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We won't do it tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I could read all that tomorrow.
We'll just meet up when we meet up. And then that
yeah.
splits about the second half.
I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Wow. What an endeavor.
What an endeavor. Okay. Wow. This was the most committed that if an anathema doesn't listen to this,
I'm quitting.
I'm quitting. Just kidding. The book's really good, but this is like quite the labor of love.
Yeah. I know. We can't even break it into 27 episodes like we did with the Lantris.
Okay. Well, this has been so fun.
Yeah, it has been. Thanks
Yeah.
for playing.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.